Uh, yes, the media is often very hostile towards refugees and asylum seekers. How do we combat this?
Well, it's such a big question, isn't it? Well, I think it's about building alternatives. You know, even Journey to Justice and even the work of Sona. How do we support communities outside the media, and how do we bring people together uh, through stories and the arts and all of what brings human connection? And we had a lovely stories being shared, and I could connect with that stories with that story that's just being said. So I think if we can create alternatives and different voices being heard and bringing people together to share and build connection, that would help to challenge those stereotypes. And I was saying earlier, it is also part of being a just person. How do we also be self-critical of ourselves? How do we treat others, and how do we challenge what we believe in? How do we get outside ourselves and try to be compassionate and trying to put ourselves in others people's shoes? So I guess the media is a big institution, but if we can bring people together around the table, have a conversation, and we will find that we have more in common and that we can build interest and build coalition. And it's also part of that also is about learning about human rights and history, which because if we understand history and we understand the context, then we're more able to build on things that have been done before, and feel more galvanized to do that. Anything that's small, anything that brings human connection, I think is really, really powerful. Human power comes through inspiration, connections, and building together. And if we can do that outside the media, which of course have a lot more power, a lot more platform, and people who are busy with their lives will tend to listen to what happens. And we can't blame them, because people are busy, people try to get on with their lives. But if we can together come together and also think about how can we improve people's life economically as well, which comes down to Journey to Justice economic injustice project, because these are universal. So for example, if I see in my community better education, I see good healthcare, I can see that I'm earning more. All of this has a direct impact on our lives, and people can feel it. People feel it. People say, oh, my children are better off, my grandchildren are better off. So I think if we can also focus on what we call universal, because the media might tend to divide us based on as I think Imad said earlier, it's be divisive, be entrenched in our own groups, in our own interests. But if we get out of it and think about the universal economic, often class interest, which is about employment, as we talked earlier, living wage, joining a union, all of that is what would have a more significant impact, irrespective of your ethnicity, your religion, your gender, your sexual orientation, whether you're a refugee or not. So let's try and focus on those things: healthcare, housing, living wage, jobs, employment. All of that bring people together, and hopefully we'll have to challenge some of the stereotypes that are and the culture war that's out there. I guess that's what comes to mind.